We continue to preview the 2025 college football season. Our stop today is Grayson, Kentucky, as we get to visit once again with the head coach of the Kentucky Christian Knights, Coach Jason Aubry, now in his third season with the program. And, Coach, let's start right there. Last year, 2-9. Improvement, however, from year one to year two. Tell us a little bit about the season last year.
Yeah, so definitely a huge improvement. You mentioned our record 2-9, and everybody's like, well, you went 1-8. Well, I guess we did double our victories from year one to year two. However, you look at 2-9 and you're like, what do you mean? A huge improvement. Well, if you were able to go back and take a look at our scores and everything, and what we did throughout the season, it was a huge improvement. 3 of the games that we lost in conference were we lost one game by 1 point. We lost another game by 3 points. We lost, each game was extremely competitive that we had. From season one to season two, or season one, we weren't even competitive in our league. But in season two, we should have, coulda, woulda. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a wonderful Christmas. You can say all those things, but Bluefield, we lost by 1 point. Union, we were inside the 5-yard line, and we lost by 3 points. We couldn't punch it in. We went to kick a field goal with like a minute to go, and botched the snap, and we weren't even able to let our kicker try to kick the field goal to be tied up to win it in overtime. So little things. And then against Point, we lost by a touchdown. And these are games that in the first season, we lost by 2, 3, 4 touchdowns. We're not even that close. So every game, though, very competitive. That's why we're so excited about what's going on right now. 2-9, but when you're playing teams that have been doing it year after year, and they're wanting to improve, and they do improve, and then we're coming in and we're just trying to build this thing and I think I said last year, we ended up just blowing up the foundation. People come in to build a program. Well, that first year I had to take that foundation that was there and just destroy it. And so this year that we just went, the 2024 season, that was kind of the foundational piece. So the first year in 2023 we call it year zero, because it really wasn't, who we were. We got our guys in there. We were year one last year, very competitive. Now coming into the 2025 season, we're looking at year two, and now we're ready to put some pieces together. And we're extremely excited. The one thing that we're going into 2025 with that I'm very excited about is our staff. We've really had some turnover in the staff, 23, 24, just because when you're trying to build something, you're trying to find the people that fit the right way, and some guys just don't fit. And you're trying to coach with guys, and I'm trying to set a standard at which we operate. And if those guys, if our players don't meet that standard, we get rid of them. Well, in the same way with the coaching staff, if the coaching staff can't meet that standard as well, we turn them loose too, and we've got to find the guys that will reach that standard. So I'm extremely excited about going into the 25 season right now. We're going to look different. We're going to look very different, and that's, let's be honest, that's the current scope of college football right now. Every team is going to look totally different. And you know what? I can either pound my fist and say, I'm going to be the old school, and we're going to do it the old. You can't do it. You either adapt to what's going on, or you're not going to be competitive at all. Mm-hmm. So we're going to adapt to it. It's nice that we don't have to deal with NIL I mean, if the guys want to do an NIL deal and get some money from a local shop in Grayson, great, you know. But we don't have to deal with collectives. We don't have to deal with all that stuff. And you know, maybe someday I will, and I'd like to be able to do something like that. However, right now I don't have to deal with NIL. You know, transfer portal we have to deal with, and so we have to embrace it and know that there's goods and bads to it. So we're going to embrace those goods, and I'm telling you what, there's a lot of good football players out there that don't have a place to go right now, and we're going to scoop them up. And I mean, we've already scooped up a few guys that should not be on our roster this fall, but they will be.
Coach, you said a lot there, and I want to pick and choose where to go next. I think I'd like to go with what you said. There are going to be changes, and of course, the whole landscape. There are pros and cons. There are goods and bads to all of it. That's probably for another show. Maybe I could have you back and us talk about some of those goods and bads about the entire league. But let's go back to where you're talking about differences, staff changes, obviously, but and it was an offense that made adjustments. I'm going to get my terminology right too, Coach. Year 0 to year 1, then offense much better last season. Offense is going to look a little bit different in 2025, or has that potential. Tell us a little bit about your offense, and let's preview there.
So we had some really, I mean, we went out, and like I said, you know, it's up to us to be competitive. We need to go and find the guys. You know, we can be the greatest coaches in the world, but if we have not very good players, it doesn't matter, you know. So you need to go out and you need to get players. Okay. So we knew we had to go get some guys, and we talked about this last year. And so we went out and we got our guys. Unfortunately, we're in the world of poaching right now. So if you have a guy that has an incredible season, he's going to get poached, you know. So we had a couple of guys that had really good seasons. Our quarterback is one of them. He was actually a transfer. We brought him in. Extremely mature young man. Jet Angle is his name, and just a great kid, great Christian kid that wants to do great things. And he was able to, you know, sit down with our offensive coordinator Joby Sullivan and really map out a plan of what we want to look like in the fall of 24. And he was with us in the spring, and then just did an incredible job on the field in 24. And then to couple that, we had a couple of incredible receivers that were with us prior, but they had to redshirt. They had some eligibility issues and everything, but they came in as freshmen, just playing redshirt freshmen for the first time, and just knocked it out. I'm blanking on their names right now, but DJ, goodness gracious. The problem why I can't remember it is because he transferred. Yeah. He had a phenomenal DJ Simmons. I'm sorry. He had a phenomenal fall. Was, you know, led conference in receiving and yardage and touchdowns and everything. We set a bunch of school records. We set a bunch of conference records, and Central Missouri comes through, scoops him up, and says, "Hey, go play D2 ball." And I don't blame the kid. You know, he's got a great opportunity. And in the same way with Jet's got some opportunities right now. People have come in and tried to scoop him up, and it's the current scope of college athletics. I don't like it. I would love for Jet to be here. I'd love for DJ to be here. But it's just the way it is. So what do we have to do? We have to do our job and go get the guys that can replace these guys. Mm-hmm. So yeah, our fall will look a little different. However, we're excited. We've got some guys that we're, like I said, we've got some guys that we're bringing in that shouldn't be playing at our level, and we're really excited about it. So yeah, we don't want to lose these guys, but we're also going to be scooping guys up and bringing guys in that can play some ball.
All right. We're speaking now with Coach Jason Aubry from Kentucky Christian here on Midwest Sports Net, previewing the 25 college football season. I encourage you, please subscribe to the channel. We would appreciate that. We enjoy talking about small college sports and more throughout the Midwest and beyond. I know one of the players that's coming back for you from a young team, by the way. It was a young team last year, too, even bringing those kids in, a young team. Deshaun Webster's coming back, had a great freshman year for you at linebacker, had a couple of good linebackers last year. Webster, 99 tackles, averaged 9 tackles per game, led the team in sacks as well. Talk about the defense, and that's a good place to start.
Absolutely. Deshaun Webster is, we call him a freak. He can run. He can, everything. You put him through testing and everything. He tests off the charts. And you get him on the field, and he runs all over the place. His body is like, he looks like a Greek god. He's just like a chiseled, man. It's amazing what he looks like. But the thing with Deshaun is he came to us from West Virginia, good program in West Virginia, but had some grade issues. So had some real big interests in some other schools, but they kind of fell off him because of that. And we were able to get him. He didn't, once again, he was a redshirt freshman as well because of those grade issues. So he came in last year as a redshirt freshman, and just played outstanding, played lights out. And he is, obviously he's coming back this year. And the thing with Deshaun is he doesn't even know how to play linebacker yet. And he did what he did. He's just scratching the surface of what he can do. We're constantly talking to him about his eyes and the eye discipline and where he needs to be and where he needs to look. And he's just understanding the game. And he did what he did last year. And I don't want to say his IQ is bad. He understands the game of football, but I think you understand what I'm talking about, where he's just very young in what, he knows about the knowledge of the game and everything. And once we're able to teach him how good he can be, he's going to be incredible. So we're extremely excited about, bringing in some guys to play with him and everything. And we're just, and another thing on the defensive side of the ball is I brought in a new defensive coordinator. His name's Roland Brady. Call him Coach Rowe is what we call him. But I was able to get him. I say that I stole him from Morehead State, which is half hour down the road. He was the defensive line coach at Morehead State, and as things the coaching cycle was going and everything, I was able to hook up with him. We chatted and everything, and brought him in, and he had a great spring. Really excited about what he's doing with the defense. We also brought in a new defensive backs coach. His name's Alex Collier. He's been in the game for quite some time. But last he was coaching down in Florida at Edward Waters. And so he's been multiple places as a defensive back coach, but just talk about a guy with juice. He brings it every day. And that's all I ask of my coaches. Come in full of juice, ready to go. Our guys will love it. And that's what our guys are doing right now. And I'm very excited about seeing the improvements that we can make defensively. We played fairly decently on the defensive side last year. I think that we can up the discipline level of our defense, and that's going to help us that much more in these games this coming fall.
I understand. Well, Coach, one of the plays too, we know in advance it's going to look a little bit different to special teams. Tell us a little bit about the special teams and what we might see in 2025.
So once again, we did have we had a kicker last year who did fairly decent for us, and was not able to come back. He had some great issues, and that's that's not what you always want to talk about. You want to say you got scooped up by a D1 school in the transfer portal, but unfortunately that's not the way it is. So obviously we have to go out, and once again, I just keep on saying it's up to us to be able to put us in a competitive situation. So we've gone out and got a couple of kickers. We're very excited about. There's a guy that we had who was actually on our soccer team the last couple years, and then we brought him in about halfway through our season and started getting him to understand the game of football and everything. And he's been booting for us all spring, and he's done a great job for us. He's kind of a project, but he's looking forward to coming in the fall. But we also have a kicker from Alabama coming in that played 6-man football, and so he can boot that thing, but nobody knows where he's from because nobody looks at 6-man football. But this kid can boot the ball, so we're excited about who we have coming in. So yeah, we'll look a little different, but we're still going to be solid. We're going to be, and the good thing, I don't know if we talked about this last year, but we don't call it special teams. We call it special forces. And each one of the teams has a different special force name. So we've got our field goal team. Our field goal unit is Ghost Recon, and then our kickoff return team is Delta Force. Then we have SEALs and Night Stalkers and Black Ops and all these things. Because what we truly believe is these plays are force plays, and it can either force you to win or force you to lose. And if we can put our most elite special forces together and have one play go out there and change the outcome of the game, that's what we're going to do. So we call them special forces. And so, and our guys get into it. They love it. They want to be on the SEALs team. They want to be on the Black Ops team. They, which is, it's all mental. If you want to get you guys excited about something, call them a special forces unit. You're part of the SEALs, man. Let's go. So it's kind of cool how we have that, and it's like I said, it's all a mindset thing. Yeah. So we're always excited about our special teams.
It's fun to listen to, Coach. It really is, and I imagine if you make it an enjoyable experience too, mentally, it goes a long way. I have asked other coaches. I'll continue that this year, and just to get slightly personal for a moment. Favorite 80s song or artist? We're getting a little farther away from the 80s as we go, but I want to find out though. Favorite 80s song or artist?
Okay, so I grew up on Rush. Neil Peart, drummer. I'm a drummer. I was a drummer since I was like in 4th grade, and I still play every once in a while in church and everything. So Neil Peart, my favorite drummer. And you just have to go with, I could go into, different albums and everything with Rush, but I mean, it's got to be Tom Sawyer. The way that Neil was able to play that, and it was just effortlessly, So like I said, I grew up on Rush and, moving pictures, and then you go into, all the not the recent stuff, but I was going to say recent, but that's 90s. So that's.
That's not recent either, Coach. Sorry. But no, okay, yeah, Tom Sawyer. That was a good one. That's one that people who are familiar with that would definitely recognize and bring to mind. All right, I had to know that, Coach. I'm enjoying getting to hear this from folks and getting a feel for where they are in that particular genre. Back to 2025, you get things underway in late August 30th. It's a noon kickoff on a Saturday against South Carolina Central Christian, and then some more non-conference games, including Morehead State, by the way. So that's on the schedule again. A little bit different look for the AAC this year, but that includes your opener in conference play as you get to go on the road to Rio Grande. So tell us a little bit about your schedule.
Yeah, so last year we went down to South Carolina and played South Carolina Central or Christian, and there was a lot of hubbub about that game, everybody's like, well, is this a real college? Is this, that, and we did our research. We wanted to make sure that we had an opener, and so we knew that they were going to show up, they were going to play. And I'll tell you what, there's some athletes down there. They've got some dudes that can go. So they're coming up here this year. We're going to have our home opener here at our stadium, and we're going to have to be ready because they've got some athletes, and they're gonna do some great things. So yeah, so we open up with them. Then we go on the road to Brevard, which they're a very solid Division III program. So we'll go down there, and then we're going to be road warriors this year because we've got a lot of games on the road. So then we'll come back and we'll play at Taylor, and then we'll play Moorhead. Then we'll have a bye, and then Rio is who we're going to play. We'll open up conference up at their place, which we're excited about because we think that they're an upstart program. This is their first year and everything, and you never know. You never know what you're going to get out of a team like that. So we're excited about playing them as well. And then we'll hit our conference schedule. And I think you probably do know that St. Andrews closed their doors. So we actually had a hole in our schedule, that October 18th date. And I said, you know what? We need to find a game. So we found the closest D2 school we could find. And for some reason, they had an open date. Central State, right up in Wilberforce, Ohio, about an hour and a half away from us. They had an open date. We worked it out. We're going to go up to Central State and play them. And they're making a splash right now. They just hired, I think, Santana Moss as their wide receivers coach. So, but there's a lot of hubbub about that now. So it's going to be fun when we go up and beat a Super Bowl MVP. So, but it's exciting. Then we're going to finish out, our conference schedule. And we only have 4 home games this year because of the way things were set up and everything. But not a big deal. Like I said, we're going to be road warriors. We're going to have to. It doesn't matter. We got to win the game, whether we're home or away. So we're looking forward to it.
All right, Coach. Well, we will be following the Knights this season as well. I always appreciate getting to visit with you, and I learned a lot. So I'm looking forward to getting to see you all again. August 30th, that's when the season gets kicked off for the Knights. So, Coach Jason Aubry, Kentucky Christian, thank you, sir, for taking time with us today to preview the Knights' 25 football season.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it, Joey.